A disgraced Yuan dynasty official walks barefoot into a remote village, seeking shelter from the authorities that have been hunting him since he lost his noble rank. But when he hears about a nearby group of rebels, he hatches a plan that will take him to unimaginable heights. In 14th century China, the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty that ruled over much of northern and central Asia, as well as the entirety of China proper, was beginning to crumble under the weight of its own excesses. In the face of widespread rebellion, famine, inflation, and plague, the once great empire of Kublai Khan was becoming unrecognizable. While imperial officials squabbled amongst themselves, desperate peasants took up arms against their oppressors, and far away from the seat of power, the people sought refuge in anything that promised a way out of their misery. That is precisely what happened in a small mountain village nestled deep in the folds of Sichuan province. And this is the story of those who found hope there, known as the Lantern Keepers. It's the year 1355. For decades, the Lantern Keepers have been secretly safeguarding ancient Chinese knowledge, scrolls, and folk medicine from the destruction of the Yuan regime. Scholars, midwives, former monks, and orphaned children meet in secret every full moon to share their knowledge and protect what remains of China's cultural heritage. Their leader, the enigmatic Lao Zhang, lives as a poor farmer by day and uncorks ancient wisdom by night. The only record of their existence is a faded scroll kept safe inside a hollowed-out book. But their peaceful existence is shattered when word reaches the village of a charismatic rebel warlord named He Li, known as the Black Whirlwind for his fierce cavalry charges. He Li claims to fight for the restoration of Han Chinese rule. He is merciful towards those who surrender and has already forged a rebel coalition strong enough to threaten the neighboring county seat. Faced with this opportunity to strike a blow for Han Chinese liberation, Li Mei finds herself torn between two loyalties. Should she throw her lot in with the rebels or stay with the keepers? The question is more pressing than she imagined. Soon after He Li's emissaries arrived, a Yuan dynasty garrison appeared demanding that the villagers hand over any suspicious persons. In spite of the danger, Li Mei sneaks into the forest to meet with Lao Zhang. She's worried that He Li might destroy everything the keepers have worked so hard to preserve. But Lao Zhang is more optimistic. He believes that knowledge is a kind of seed, and like seeds, some are lost while others find purchase in an unexpected place and grow into something new. With Lao Zhang's blessing, Li Mei prepares to leave the village and seek out He Li. She disguises herself as a boy and travels to the nearby town of Yangzhou, where she successfully infiltrates He Li's camp, eventually becoming his personal scribe and courier. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Li Mei, one of her fellow Lantern Keepers, the stoic martial arts master Jian, had followed her to Yangzhou to ensure her safety. Arriving in disguise as a traveling merchant, Jian observes He Li's forces from afar and waits for the right moment to reveal himself. At first, life in He Li's camp is not what Li Mei expected. It's surprisingly well organized, resembling a normal military camp more than the ragtag band of rebels she'd envisioned. Impressed by Li Mei's skills, He Li entrusts her with more responsibility, including delivering a sealed scroll to his most trusted general, Su De. But when she does, Su De reveals that he knows her true identity and warns her that He Li plans to use her to assassinate Lao Zhang. Horrified at the prospect of killing her mentor, Li Mei flees, only to be captured by He Li's men. In spite of her protestations, He Li binds Lao Zhang and brings him before his troops, just as he's about to kill the old man. However, Jian leaps into action, fighting his way through He Li's men to rescue Lao Zhang. Li Mei tries to stop them, but when He Li grabs her by the hair and threatens to kill her unless Jian surrenders, the martial arts master has no choice but to flee. Realizing that He Li is a far greater threat than she imagined, Li Mei runs into the forest, bumping into an old friend from the keepers, the monk Shiyun. Together, they sneak into He Li's camp and search for Su De, who's still furious at being ordered to capture Li Mei alive. Li Mei convinces Su De that He Li plans to betray him, just as he's betrayed everyone else. Though skeptical, Su De agrees to hear Lao Zhang's side of the story, and the two escape together into the night. As dawn breaks over Yangzhou, Li Mei wakes up in an abandoned hut only to find Su De missing and a note saying that he's gone to gather reinforcements. Suddenly, He Li bursts in with his men and captures Li Mei. Though she refuses to cooperate, Healy easily guesses her identity and accuses her of spying for the Lantern Keepers. He taunts her that soon her precious scrolls will be nothing but ashes. Furiously, she spits in his face, which only amuses the rebel leader. He tells her that he plans to overthrow the Yuan dynasty and restore traditional Chinese rule. But then he notices her pendant, a symbol of the Keepers. Intrigued, he demands that she tell him all she knows about the mysterious group. Though shaken by Healy's brutality, Li Mei holds firm, refusing to give up the Keeper's secrets. But then Su Yun appears with a large contingent of soldiers. A battle ensues, but Li Mei and Healy escape. Once again, separated from her companions, Li Mei finds herself alone in the forest. She's spotted by a Yuan dynasty patrol. But before they can capture her, a man suddenly appears and scares the soldiers off. Li Mei recognizes the man as Healy's captured general, Suda. Now dressed in a fine robe, Suda reveals that Healy is not who he seems. His real name is Wang Juxian, and he used to serve as an official in the Yuan dynasty's Ministry of War. After falling out of favor with the emperor, he fled to the countryside, where he organized a rebel army and assumed the identity of Healy, the Black Whirlwind. But now that he controls much of western Sichuan, Suda says he plans to declare himself emperor of a new Chinese dynasty. Furious at Wang Juxian's deception, Li Mei draws her sword, but Suda knocks it away with ease. He explains that the Yuan emperor won't allow a new dynasty to replace his, so he must be careful. This is why he spared the Lantern Keepers. He needs allies if he is going to seize the capital and force the Yuan emperor to make him emperor. Though tempted by Suda's promises of restoring Chinese rule, Li Mei refuses to join him. Instead, she runs into the forest, bumping into none other than Wang Juxian himself. He offers her a chance to join him and rule as empress, but she refuses and attacks him. Though she's no match for his skill, Li Mei manages to hold her own long enough for reinforcements to arrive. Suda and his men capture Wang Juxian, along with several of his top generals, ending his rebellion. In the aftermath, Suda executes Wang Juxian for his crimes, while Li Mei is hailed as a hero for helping to capture the treacherous warlord. But she's not interested in power or glory. Instead, she asks Suda for permission to return to her village, but he denies her request, insisting that she stay in Yangzhou to help govern the newly captured city. Seeing that there's no point in arguing, Li Mei accepts his offer and settles down to raise a family. Her son grows up hearing stories of the brave rebels who fought against the Yuan and restored China to the Han. And as he looks at the ancient scrolls passed down from the Lantern Keepers, he believes them to be nothing more than myths. Little does he know that they're about to become history. The Lantern Keepers is inspired by the Red Turban Rebellions, a series of anti-Yuan peasant rebellions that took place in China between 1321 and 1368. At their peak, the Red Turbans controlled vast areas of northern and central China, but they were ultimately crushed by the combined forces of the Yuan and Ming. Despite their defeat, the Red Turban Rebellions marked an important turning point in Chinese history. They were the first large-scale popular uprising against the Yuan dynasty, and they helped to pave the way for the eventual collapse of Mongol rule in 1368 and the establishment of the Ming dynasty. But the story doesn't end here. You can continue exploring the world of the Lantern Keepers and other historical tales on this channel. The story follows a young mother who discovers a mysterious box filled with ancient scrolls that contain the key to her family's forgotten past. Join us every week as we bring you new stories of adventure, intrigue, and discovery from across the globe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.